Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to talk about Chinese medicinal dietary therapy. Definition. It refers to a branch of Chinese medicine that integrates the food and medicine to prevent and treat diseases, promote health, and restore the balance of yin and yang. From the definition, we can see that the Chinese medicinal dietary therapy emphasis on maintaining health, let's promote the health, and prevention, as well as treating diseases from its therapeutic effects. It is also rooted in the principle of the theories of yin and yang, 5 elements, the Zangfu organs, qi, blood, body fluids, etc. This therapy emphasizes the selection, preparation, and combination of specific foods and herbs based on their medicinal properties and effects on the body. It's a holistic approach that views foods as both nourishment and medicine, aiming to maintain harmony and prevent illness through diet. There are different terminologies that are similar to Chinese medicinal dietary therapy, such as nutrition therapy, dietary guidelines, and cuisine. The history of this modality is as early as Zhou Dynasty, Zhou Li. In the discussion, we mentioned quite a few times of this book. Zhou Li is the book that records the etiquette of Zhou Dynasty. That's about 2,700 to 800 years ago, to 3,000 years ago. Doctors' specialties in various fields, including nutrition, internal and external medicines, traumatic care, and veterinary medicine. So as from the description, you can see that as early as Zhou Dynasty, doctors already we have some specialties focused on nutrition, focused on this in this field. and toxic wine. 饮膳正要呼师会 he compiled 饮膳正要 in 1330 AD, including 3 volumes, and this is one of the earliest monographs on dietary therapy. For example, in this book, the author described in detail this for women during pregnancy, before pregnancy, during pregnancy, and after childbirth, how to adjust the diet to maintain their health, to promote recovery. The principles of Chinese medicinal dietary therapy. Firstly, because this is diet, this is actually food. So firstly, it must look pleasant. Secondly, it must smell good, and also it must taste good. So these 3 are the key principles. Plus, on the food category, you also need, because this is medicinal dietary therapy, so you also need the therapeutic effects. So effective from therapeutics point of view. So these are the 4 principles from food point of view and also from the medicine point of view. So these are the key principles in medicinal dietary therapy. As you can see from all these photos, that these are actually desserts, and these, firstly, it looks great, it looks very nice, and also tastes good. But in the meantime, they have therapeutic effects, because, for example, this is actually rice cake, sticky rice cake, but this is the combination with pumpkin or butternut. But pumpkin and butternut itself is therapeutic effects. Sticky rice also have therapeutic effects. So if you can take these, can tonify the spleen, can improve, can strengthen spleen and stomach. But in the meantime, you must know you should not take too much at a time, especially people suffer from spleen and stomach deficiency. So So if you know the therapeutic effect of the ingredients, we actually can use food to promote health. We can use desserts to promote health, especially in pediatrics. Children, they don't like medicine. They don't like bitter medicine, and so from that treatments, we actually can make herbal medicine very nicely, tastes good, looks good, and also have the therapeutic effects. So if you know the ingredients, if you know the functions of the ingredients, that's also the purpose of our course in this field. The categories, including all dietary therapy, all cuisines, including the food ingredients, including herbal ingredients. The herbal ingredients that not have to be herbs, but it can be different type of materia medica, including minerals if needed. So basically refer to Chinese herbal medicine. Incorporates herbs into food following the principle of Chinese medicine. So this is very important. That's to follow the principles of Chinese medicine. This is exactly the same as Chinese materia medica. When we define Chinese materia medica, we say that all systems that's used according to the principles of Chinese medicine. That's why it says the food ingredients and the herbal ingredients. The herbal ingredients including different type of herbs and as well as animal products and etc. So it doesn't have to be herbs, but it have to be used under the guideline of Chinese medicine theories. In this field, we actually think that the herbs serves as food. Food also can function as medicine. If you still remember in the history, there was one discussion that we mentioned, where does medicine originate? So there was one conclusion that says food and medicine have to share the same origin. This is correct because food and medicine are actually exactly the same. For example, in the history, in all those classics, some authors, when they explain the classics, they says, what's the difference between herbs and vegetables? For example, we eat vegetables every day, but why we don't eat herbs every day? The only difference between herbs and vegetables, or between herbal medicine and vegetables, the vegetables are like fresher, yet primary, younger, so it tastes good. Herbs, it's similar to the vegetable. The vegetable, when you grow old, the vegetable does not taste that great. So that's why we don't eat herbs that often. But the primary herbs, for example, when the herbs only grows in very small in the primary stage, we also can eat them as vegetable. So as you can see from this perspective, there's actually no difference between herbs and vegetables. That's also why when we eat our food, in our diet, we also need to think about the theory. Does this food that's suitable for you according to your body type? Do these vegetables that benefit you according to your body type? For example, if these vegetables that are cold in nature, and then if you eat them if your body type also cold, you always have cold hands and cold feet, and you always have loose stool or even diarrhea. If you eat more cold food, for example, in the Western countries, many of us that we are eating raw salad because vitamin, because fresh. Everyone think these are good, but it's really good for your body type. It's because these are the raw food and firstly vegan, secondly raw and cold. These are not suitable for someone who has cold body constitution, but these are good for someone who have hot body constitution, such as the people will have red tongue. The hands and fingers won't feel that cold in winter. So no matter what type of diet, what type of food or even vegetables, we need to eat according to your body type. That's also the purpose of the subjects. So we basically use we use herbal medicine as food. We use food as medicine. There are different types of medicine that, of the preparation we can use. For example, we can use medicinal wines. We can use the herbal medicine we make into wine, such as this one. As you can see from inside, it's a ginseng. This ginseng, you can combine ginseng with rice wine or high degree alcohol, for example, whiskey. This can, while you're drinking whiskey, you actually can enhance the therapeutic effects of ginseng, because ginseng can tonify qi. It is warm and hot. So if you drink ginseng wine, it tonifies the qi of your body. You also promote the circulation of your body. So from the combination, you can have the function of the wines as well as the herbal medicine. This is the raw ginseng, the fresh ginseng that you soak in the wine, and after a while you can drink them. But from the other perspective, we also can make wine out of the fruits or the herbs. So you actually can put these ingredients together when you ferment when you produce those wines. So there are different techniques and different processes that can apply in making wines. You can either soak the fresh herbs in there, or you can decoct the herbal medicine and put the liquids together to produce the wine. There are also other culinary preparations, such as these photos are actually just our daily food, our normal cuisine. So if you go to a restaurant, you can see these quite often. So for example, this is sanyao yan, and then black mushroom and pepper. Black mushroom also tonify kidney. Sanyao, it tonify the spleen. So this cuisine it tonify kidney and spleen. And this one is lotus seeds, and the red one is dates. Both lotus seeds and dates tonify the spleen. So this soup also can benefit spleen and stomach. So someone suffer from poor digestive function, they don't want to eat, poor appetite, and after eating even small amounts, they feel distending sensation in the abdomen. Then those people can have some of these cuisine in their diet. The third one is just herbal medicine with chicken. This one also herbal medicine. These are also herbal medicine with different foods. And afterwards, in this series, we will introduce some of these cuisine. And we also can make into desserts. So for example, this one, the Fulin. Fulin has the function to induce diuresis, reduce swelling, and also to tonify spleen. For example, for this type of desserts is very suitable for kids, because for kids, the most common diseases that happens among kids, children, is actually poor digestive function. If you increase or recover their digestive function, they can be healthier by themselves. They also will grow better, because this is the qi, one type of qi. Acquire the qi from food. So if you can at least herbal medicine have therapeutic effects into children's diet, that's also great to promote their general health. This one is固元膏. 固元膏 is also made from the donkey skin, the gel from donkey skin, and we made into desserts. This also tonify blood and tonify kidney. So for example, females, they suffer from less bleeding in the menstruation. Also, some suffer from blood deficiency, cold condition in the body, cold hands and cold feet, clots in the blood, even dysmenorrhea, painful menstruation. They also can have these as desserts. These can nourish the kidney, nourish the uterus, tonify blood. So we can use these desserts for all these conditions. This dessert is made out of green beans. Green beans have the function to clear heat, so this can reduce heat. For example, you can use for someone suffer from internal heat. From these images, you can see that the Chinese medicinal dietary therapy, it's actually, firstly it looks good, also tastes good. So in the meantime, it has the therapeutic effects. So this is just some examples of the cuisine, but we can have other categories. For example, we can make soups out of the herbal ingredients and the food as well. We can make porridge out of these. We can make drinks out of these. In the next session, we are going to introduce some of the theories of Chinese medicinal dietary therapy. So, for example, how do we know the functions of these foods? And in future, for example, especially for us, we live in overseas countries all over the world, and then how can I identify the new ingredients that are not described in this lecture or not described in the textbook? So these are the theories for dietary therapy. 黄帝内经 it described as the correspondence between the flavors and 脏腑 organs. This is actually also linked to the 5 elements. For example, the 脏 organs, the liver, wood, and the flavor sour, they link together. 黄帝内经 described that the heart favors bitter flavor, the lung favors pungent flavors, and then the liver favors sour flavors, the spleen favors sweet flavors, kidney favors salty flavors. That's why the taste, and anything have salty taste, it can benefit the kidney, it can go into the kidney. Someone suffer from anxiety, from depression due to liver qi stagnation, you can advise the patient to have some more sour systems or food. Either it can be food or drinks. This is the correspondence between the internal organs and the flavors. Pungent is not a common taste, but how I normally explain pungent is when it's ginger. You just think about if you can remove the hot sensation, the spicy sensation from ginger, and then the rest of the burning sensation is pungent. So if you're not quite sure what type of sensation it is, you may try. Just try to taste ginger, but try to distinguish between spicy and the other flavor. So the other flavor we call it pungent. Sweet flavor can help alleviate the liver as well. From here, you also can see that in a theory we talk about the relationship between the spleen and liver. Because sweet flavor and liver, sweet flavor tonify the spleen. Spleen also have the relationship with the liver from the 5 elements from wood and the earth. Excessive salt may lead to the blood cysts in the vessels. So these are actually some evidence and experience you can see in your daily life. If you have the experience that if you making the blood cube, you will see that you will actually put some salts in the water, and then for example the animal blood go to the water, become the blood cube. You can see it become the clots easier. This is because excessive salty water result in blood cysts. Excessive bitter taste can cause dry skin. Excessive pungent may lead into sputum. So these are some of the principles from the classic. Contraindications. Pungent influence the qi. Those who with qi related conditions should avoid excessive intake of pungent food. Salt affect the blood. Individuals with blood-related disorder should limit their salt consumptions. Bitter affects the bones. With the bone-related, we find the consuming too much bitter food. Sweets impair the muscles. The muscular condition should avoid excessive sweetness. So, for example, patients suffer from atrophy, body ache, muscular pain. Then you can advise the patient to have less sweets. But the sweets does not have to be the sweets that commonly we use as desserts, but it can include other food or medicine include sweet flavor or sweet property. Sour influence the ligament. Those who have ligament-related issues should limit the intake of sour. In the meantime, medications are also used to dispel pathogens, while foods can help restore maintaining health, such as grains, meats, vegetables, and fruits. The principle in the use of medicinal dietary therapy is even in 黄帝内经, it describes that for each patient, we're going to help the patient to recover a certain percentage, but afterwards, what we're going to do, we're not going to leave the patient alone, but we use the food as medicine to promote the recovery of the disease. So that's why we don't overtreat each patient. That's also the purpose for food therapy. In spring, favors more sour foods. In summer, more bitter foods. In autumn, more pungent, and in winter, more salty. So these are the nature, the nature characteristics of food intake that we need to go according to the season, because this is also linked to the 5 elements. We need to adjust our food according to the change of the seasons. If you still remember the pulse diagnosis, we also said that our pulse have the different characteristics according to different seasons. They all considered as healthy. Same here. If you can eat your food according to these guidelines, then you actually can be healthier. Which means in spring you don't eat that much salty food, you don't eat that much bitter food, you don't eat that much pungent food. In summer, because the temperature hot, the bitter taste also can mostly related to cold or cool, so can clear the heat in the body. The characteristics of Chinese medicinal dietary therapy is an extremely long history. We also combine the food and herbs to promote health. The therapy customized based on individual needs and traditional practice. So what that means here is actually the way how you prepare depends on individuals, also the region, the location. From when we see from global perspective, you also consider the traditional practice including your cultural practice. For example, from which culture how you prepare food. So you can use your old way, your old traditional way to prepare food, but you need to consider those people's body constitution. So we don't say patients, but those individuals' body constitutions, because your diet, the food you prepare must suitable for these individuals. That's how to promote both on prevention and recovery. So have the prevention technique characteristics, and also have the therapeutic effects. To understand the ingredients, including the food ingredients and the herbal ingredients, we are going to expand each ingredients according to the 4 properties, the 5 flavors: ascending, descending, floating, and sinking, and also the meridian, tropism, and also toxicity. So these, if you have learned Chinese material medica, you will see these are actually the theory from Chinese material medica. So we actually understand or analyze each ingredient, each individual herbs according to these characteristics. That's how we understand the functions of these ingredients, because the functions are actually concluded from these flavors and properties. The function or the result of using these, we actually try to balance yin and yang. We try to harmonize 脏腑 organs, tonify healthy qi, and dispel pathogens. Apply according to individuals, time, and regional factors. We also need to consider the contraindications. So in which situation you should not use which type of food, and while you're preparing for the food, you also need to consider the seasons. You need to consider the body constitutions. For example, here, this image I show you the 9 body constitution, the 9 body constitutions. These are some examples of the herbal porridge. The herbal porridge, you can use the raw herbs mixed with rice and grains or other grains, and then you cook together. You also can use herbal powder. So the raw herbs you grind into powder. In powder form, you combine with the rice and grain, and then you cook into porridge. You also have the herbal decoction. So similar how you prepare herbal medicine, the herbal tea. So you take the ingredients, you put some water, and then you decoct the ingredients, and then you filter out the decoction, the liquid only, and then you use the liquids to cook rice or other grains and make into porridge. You also can make in soup or milk, prepare the rice and grains. And medicinal ones, you use the alcohol 20 to 45% or rice wine. Rice wine made out of sticky rice, and the percentage is slightly lower. You can soak the ingredients into the liquids whether hot or cold. It depends on the requirement. So if you're cold, you're going to warm the alcohol up, and then you put the ingredient in. If you're cold, you just put the ingredient in the liquids directly. And you also can use wine-based decoction, so which means you use the herbal medicine, and then you add wine, and then you decoct those herbal medicine, and then drink the wine. You also can produce the infused wine. So this one says you use the herbal medicine, herbal ingredients to make the wine. So afterwards in this session, in this series, we will discuss one fruits we can make into wine. So it's very similar to red wine we made out of grapes. And grapes is a kind of fruit, and you can make into wine. So the red wine also have its own therapeutic effects. The food ingredients, it can be categorized into grains, cultivated vegetables, wild edible plants, edible fungi, fruits, livestock and meat products, dietary and eggs, seafood, seasonings. So these are the primary ones that we're going to introduce, and especially because we in overseas countries, we are going to, especially the meat, I'm going to introduce the more common meats that we can see in South Africa or other Western countries that we use more. The vegetables as well. Because this is Chinese medicinal dietary therapy, so originally we more talk about the Chinese food and Chinese vegetables, and also the herbal medicine. But so when we go to the overseas countries, in this series we will mention more about the foods or the vegetables that you can buy in local supermarket. That's also Chinese food. So in this way, it's easier for us to understand and to get you to to understand these food and also the herbs. But in the meantime, why I introduced the theory at the beginning is because if there are some other foods, grains, plants, vegetables, even meats that are not introduced in this series, but you have around you, you can apply this theory to understand those new foods or vegetables that's not included in the series. So you will be able to understand how does those food or ingredients works, and what are the functions, in what situation you should avoid. So that's only when you understand the theories. So in the next session, we are going to talk about the grains.